This is the solution to your animation task 3. Let's open up Animate. I'd say Jared wants a short animation that can be used to advertise Rock ICT. The animation must meet the following requirements. The size must be set to 512 by 288 pixels. So when we open up Animate, we go to File, we click on New. Dimensions, the width is 512, height is 288. Frame per second is going to be 30. Platform type is ActionScript 3. Click on Create. Okay. So the background must be set to black. I'm going to do this all on one layer. Okay. So document settings, selection tool is already selected. On the right hand side, we have the property section. Over here, we have the stage color. We click it and we set the stage to black. Next is the background must appear for the first 2 seconds. Since I'm working with 30 FPS, so 2 seconds equates to 60 frames. I will right click on the 60th frame and insert a keyframe. So that will add blank keyframes up until 60 frames. If I just press enter to preview it, the background stays visible for 2 seconds. Clear? Next. The text rock must appear in the bottom left corner and the text ICT must appear in the top right corner. The text must be white and 24 points. Fine. The text rock and the ICT must move from the corners to the center of the screen so that they are side by side. The timing for this must be 3 seconds. So right after 2 seconds, the text rock and ICT must appear. One in the bottom left corner and one in the top right corner. Text is white, 24 points. And in 3 seconds, they are going to move towards the center of the screen, going to be side by side. And this animation should take how many seconds? 3 seconds. Now there are several ways of doing this. You can do the shape tween, you can do classic tween, you can even do motion tween, right? Since I just talked about what? Shape tween. So I'm going to do it with shape tween. The very first thing that you need to do is the timing is 3 seconds. So that basically means 90 frames from 60, right? So the next starting point would be 61. I will create a insert keyframe here. And over here, I'm going to add the text. The thing is, in 3 seconds, they are to come to the center of the screen and they are to be side by side. Now, in order to do the center, or let's say related to the positioning, you can also be specific by using the rulers. For that, I can go to view and then click on rulers. You get to see dimensions on the top and the side. By doing this, I can also create guides. Okay, so if I come here on the vertical ruler, click and drag, you get to see a line which I can place anywhere I want. Let's say here. So this is basically acting as my guide. The guide position can also be changed. I can be specific in placing this guide right in the center of my frame. One way is that I can move it. Look at my ruler. The width is actually 512. So the half of 512 is going to be 256. So I can approximately place the ruler somewhere here. So this is probably 256. But if I want to be specific, I can just double click on this. I'll get a pop-up, move the guide position. I will set 256 and click on OK. So this is actually dead center of my frame vertically. And then from the top, I will bring in the guide. Again, the same process, double click on it. The height of my stage is 288. Half of 288 is 144. So I will type in 144 and click on OK. So this is actually identifying the center of my stage. Mind you that these guides are not visible in your final animation. These are just there for your reference. Okay? So 61 frame, I'm going to click on my text, change the fill color to white, change the size to 24. I will click here, type in rock, click here and type in ICT. Once done, I will take my selection tool. Rock needs to be in the bottom left. ICT needs to be top right. Done. Now, selecting ICT, Control plus B once to break it apart, Control plus B to make it into shape. Then I'll click on rock, Control plus B to break it apart, Control plus B to make it into shape. Now my first starting frame is all set. 3 seconds. That is what, 90 frames. So 60 plus 90 is 150. I will right click 150, insert a keyframe. This is my end point of the animation. At this point, both of these texts needs to be in the center of the frame, aligned side by side. So I will select ICT, bring it here, rock, and bring it here. Done. I can also fine tune my adjustment by taking the selection tool, selecting my text, and then making use of my arrow keys on the keyboard to place them in the center. So this seems okay to me. Let's shift this a bit on the right. Now, done. So the first frame, the placement of the text is here. Last frame, the placement of the text is at this point. Both the points have shapes in them. All I need to do is apply the shape wheel. Right click anywhere in the gray portion or the timeline, click on create shaped wheel. And if I play it from the start, so for the first 2 seconds, the stage is black and then the rock ICT comes together side by side in the center of the frame. Are we clear on this? Next, the letter R of the text rock ICT must turn red immediately after the text has moved to the center. Okay, so I will create another keyframe on 151. On this frame, I need to change the fill color of the letter R. So I'll take my selection tool, double click on my R letter, change the fill to red. So immediately after they move to the center, the text R turns into red. ठीक है जी? right? The text should remain fully visible for 2 seconds. So this particular text needs to be visible for 2 seconds. I am actually at 150. 2 seconds means what? 60 frames. So 50 plus 60 frames is going to be 210. I will right click on 210 and insert a keyframe. So this text remains fully visible for 2 seconds. Next is the text rock ICT must then fade out. The timing for this must be what? 5 seconds. 5 seconds equals to what? 5 seconds is 150, right? So if you add 150 into 210, and that's 360. My starting point for this is what? Is going to be 211. So right click, insert a keyframe at 211, and then insert a keyframe at 360. Right click, insert a keyframe. This should fade out in 5 seconds. Both the points, starting point and the end point, both are in shape. All I need to do is make the visibility of my 211 frame to 0. Okay. What you need to keep in mind is when you click on 211, all the content on the frame gets selected. Okay. If I can show you by zooming in. Even more. I can't zoom in more. But you will get to see the portion that all text is basically selected. If I simply go and check my alpha setting of the object and shift it to 0, so you can see that the red color basically overpowers the white color. This is not the case. We need to have them in their original position, in which the R is red and the rest of the text is white. So when you have two color components, don't select multiple color components and set the alpha setting to 0. You have to select them individually. So I Control Z to undo this. I will click with my selection tool. I will draw a portion which only caters to the white text like this, and leaving out the letter R, which is in red color. So I will select this, set the alpha setting to 0. When I deselect the text, it will disappear because right now it is selected. Whenever you select something, it will be visible even if the alpha setting is set to 0. So if I click here, it disappears. But if I select again, it appears. You got this? Then the letter R, I will just double click on it and set the alpha setting to 0. This disappears as well. So this is my starting point. Is it? The requirement of the paper is what?
Fade out.
Fade out. So starting point should be 0 or the end point should be 0? End point should be 0. Now Control Z to the text is visible. Come to the last frame. Over here I need to set it to 0. So I will select the text again. Let's say this is my white text. The alpha setting set to 0 and deselect, double click on the letter R, set the alpha setting to 0. Once done, both ends have shape. I've made the changes. All I need to do is right click and shape tool. Now please note, this is my text. If I play this, the text will fade out, but look at the texture of the text. It actually distorts a bit. Distort समझ आती? शेप चेंज होती है हल्की सी. दोबारा देखो. So the text comes together in the center of the frame, it turns red, and now it deforms a bit. Distortion हो जाती है थोड़ी सी. This is happening because of the shape tween. If I do the same thing using a classic tween, this might not happen. Classic tween also gives me the option to fade out and fade in. Okay, we'll talk about the classic tween in a bit. Let's move on. The text, the best must fade in at the center of the screen and then fade out again. So another text, another piece of text is going to fade in and fade out at the center of the screen. The text must be read. It should be 24 points. The timing for this must be 5 seconds. The whole animation needs to be 5 seconds. So can I say that the text is going to appear in 2.5 seconds and disappear in 2.5 seconds? कर सकते हैं ना? I can even do this कि the text appears in 1 second, remains visible for 3 seconds, and then for the last second it disappears. आप कोई भी setting इसके लिए set कर सकते हो. Because the examiner did not specify. The only thing that you need to focus on is that the text must fade in and fade out. The whole animation for this is going to be 5 seconds. अब ratio क्या बनाना है वो आपको देख लो. 2 seconds में appear करा दो, 3 seconds में fade out करा दो. ठीक है? I'll go with 2.5 and 2.5. 2.5 actually means how many frames? 75. Total 5 seconds is 150. We are at what? 360. 150 add karo. 510. Right? So, first of all, we have to set the starting point. So we right click and we click on insert keyframe. When we do this, the previous keyframe, the contents get copy pasted onto or up until this point. We don't need rock IC, so I'm going to delete it. We'll take our text tool again. The opacity or the alpha setting is at 200. Fill is red, 24 points. We click here. The text is the best. Done. We take the selection tool and we try to place it in the center. We can take finer adjustments by using the arrow keys. Now I'm going to convert this text into shape. So Control plus B once to break it apart, Control plus B again to convert it into shape. Now, from 360 plus 75, $435. 435, we right click, we click on insert keyframe. Again, 436, this is for my fade in, starting point and end point. For fade out, I need to have the starting point and end point. So 436, I'm going to have in keyframe, and then I'm going to have at 510. Starting point, end point set. When it starts to appear, the opacity or the visibility is going to be 0. So I'll select the 361 frame. I'll select the object. The alpha setting set to 0. It fades in. So in the center, the visibility is going to be 100, which is already 100. If I click here and the object, this is 100. What about the last frame? 0. So we click on the alpha setting, set it to 0. All points, starting point and end points, all points, it is basically what we have shapes. All we need to do is apply shape tween. Right click, shape tween. Right click, shape tween. Okay? If I run the whole animation, by the way, if you want to save time, the shortcut key for the selection tool is V. Okay, V. So rather than going and clicking here, you can just press V to shift to your selection tool. If you want to zoom in and out, because that is again something very frequently done, the shortcut is Z. Control plus करके भी हो सकता. For instance, if I press on Z, you can see that my default is set to zoom in, right? If I hold down Alt key, I will shift to zoom out. So I can zoom out, but if I release the Alt key, I can zoom in. ठीक है? स्पेस बार को होल्ड करने से आई कैन शिफ्ट टू द हैंड टूल से क्या होता है, आप मैनुअली फ्रेम को मूव कर सकते हो. ठीक हो गया. Okay, so coming back, running the animation up until now, 2 seconds blank screen, then the text comes, then it changes to red, remains for 2 seconds, then it fades out in 5 seconds, then the text, the best, starts to appear and then disappears. The only glitch that you see will not be visible when I export my file. Okay? Sometimes the glitches are going to be there because of rendering or whatever reason. Okay? And plus, yeah, this fade in and fade out is smoother if you use classic tween rather than shape tween. Okay? उसके बाद ही क्या कहते हैं? The logo must appear small at the center of the screen. The logo must grow larger to fill most of the screen. The timing for this must be 3 seconds. So there's going to be a logo which is going to appear in the center of the screen. It should grow larger to fill most of the screen. The timing for this must be 3 seconds, which is actually 90 frames. All animations must be smooth. The animation must be 20 seconds in length. 20 seconds for the whole animation. 30 FPS. Total frames 600, right? I'm at 510. The last 90 frames are going to be allocated for the image. So I will be at 600. Perfect 20-second length. The animation must be set to loop. The animation must be exported in a suitable format to be played on a website. Did they specify any format? No. We can export it in SWF. We can export it in animated GIF. It's up to us. Most suitable is animated GIF because of its size. Okay? Anyways, so 510, sorry. Right click, insert a keyframe. Over here, I don't need the text, so I'm going to remove it. Pressing delete. Go into file, import to stage. Then I need to find out or locate my logo, which is this. Taking the transform tool, and holding down shift to maintain the aspect ratio. Also convert this into what? Shape. So control plus B, converting into shape. Then I will right click on my 600th frame and insert a keyframe. Over here, the size of the logo must grow larger, fill most of the screen like this. First frame, the logo size is this. Last frame, the logo size is this. Both are in shape. Right click and apply shape tween. Run this. You can set it to loop while playing. 2 seconds, Rock ICT, then it fades out in 5 seconds, then the text comes, fade ins and fade out, then the logo grows larger. Once you are done and satisfied with the animation, you go to File, click on Export, and then it can be animated GIF or export movie. Let's export movie first in the SWF format. So we click on the desktop, we're going to save, let's say, have they specified a name? No. So let's say best animation 1. It should be saved as SWF, which is a shockwave movie file. We click on save. Then I'm going to go to file again, export, and animated GIF. When you create the animated GIF, you need to focus on the looping. For SWF, the looping is by default. For animated GIF, you need to set it to loop forever. Colors are okay. I can increase, that's basically the best. Transparency, no. Matte black is okay. Interlaced, 100%. It needs to be art. Optimize and click on save. This is best animation 2 saved as GIF image. So click on save and click on done. Both the formats are saved. This is my SWF file. This is my animated GIF. Let's look at the SWF. Focus on the glitch. What is? So no glitch in the exported file. Let's look at the animated GIF. Again, no glitch. Okay, so this was the solution to your exercise 3, task 3, I guess, and using only one layer and using the shape queen only through and through.